Hey, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the news bulletin of the 18th of the coming 2 weeks of the 18th of September 2018. My name is Oscar. I'm an account strategist in the Dutch market for the Google Marketing Solutions team. And today, Alexandra was actually on a business trip to Belgium. So I'm joined here today by Stefan, a colleague of mine.
Hi. Yeah, as Oscar said, I'm Stefan. I'm also working in the Dutch Google Marketing Solutions team. I'm working with direct clients, and today I will be supporting Oscar in this presentation.
Yes, very happy to have you here today. So a quick agenda of what we're going to discuss today. The theme of this week's news bulletin is mobile first strategy. So we're just going to dive into mobile and see what are some factors that you can think about when designing the right mobile strategy for your advertisers. And after that, we have a product update as always. And this time the product update will be a new audience type called light TV viewers for YouTube, which is a very interesting one, I think. And we will end with the Q&A. This is a live session. So if you have any questions, we have the live stream here. And at the end of the session, we will be happy to answer your questions if we have the knowledge and the capabilities to do so. But please, let's make it as interactive as possible. So mobile search, let's start off with that. We tried to break down mobile search strategy into 4 building blocks or components, so to say. The first one is measurements. How to measure mobile search results. Second one is bidding, how to use the right bidding strategies and what to look for and what to think about when you are bidding for your mobile strategy. And then 3 and 4 are more about the mobile website, because you can have a great Google Ads strategy, but if your website is not great, then your conversion rate will obviously still be bad. So we will talk in points 3 and 4 about your mobile speed, which is very important, and also the mobile user experience to increase conversion rates. So let's start off with a nice fact. We saw that in 2017, mobile search was the most important advertiser driver. 2017 was actually quite an important year for Google, because we saw that the amount of queries that came through mobile devices surpassed the amount of queries through tablets or desktop. So it was actually it was kind of like a tipping point. And 2/3 of the total ads growth came from mobile search in terms of volume. So that's really a big development. So that's why we think it's very relevant to talk about mobile today. So let's start off with measurements. We see measurement kind of as the foundation of your mobile strategy. And let's take the metaphor of building a house. If you build a house, but you don't have the foundational structures in place, then you can build a great house, but first the foundation needs to be right. And we see measurement really as the foundation to really properly know where your conversions are coming from. So it's important to use an attribution model that values every touch point. And we think that conversion tracking should be switched to a non-last click model for search. Ideally, data-driven attribution, if that is an attribution model that you already can use. It has minimum requirements in terms of conversion amount. But for example, time decay or position-based are also great attribution strategies to really value every touch point, which also includes for mobile. For the more advanced advertisers, we advise to also take into account online to offline conversions. So for example, store visits and call measurements are scalable solutions for advertisers to give you a more realistic idea of the impact that Google Ads has on your advertiser. Cross-device, of course, is very important. We see that when search advertisers include cross-device conversions, mobile volume increases by 14% on average. So that's actually very important to know. And finally, use experiments. Google Ads is a great tool. You can measure literally anything with Google Ads, and experiments are a great tool. So for example, try to have two variables. One in which you, for example, have your old bid adjustments, and the second one where you have the new bid adjustments. And then, for example, try to have a higher bid adjustment for mobile, for your mobile devices, for example, and see what impact that has in your overall campaign performance. So use experiments to see what impact it can have. An example is Custom Inc., which is an advertiser, which used geo experiments to show that mobile non-brand searches drive sales at a 4.4 to 1 ROAS. So it's just an example of a company that adjusted their mobile bid adjustment and then tested what the impact was, and it was actually a very positive one.
Yeah, and also by using a non-less click model. So they saw like the non-branded terms, they were actually getting and generating more value than the branded search.
Exactly. True. So it's a very good point, and it's a combination between the two that will drive the best results. Yeah.
Yeah, and that will make like the second bridge, I think, until bidding. Absolutely, really important to measure like where your value is coming from, what keywords are generating what value, so that you know that the more generic terms, like they usually don't have that high conversion rate, and the branded terms like usually have a higher conversion rate. But we see that they both contribute to like the end conversions. And if you measure that with like a non-click attribution model, and you also like help all the algorithms of Google and finding all that value, attaching like a value to every different query, the device, for example, like what contribution has as mobile in the total purchase process of a company, of someone clicking on your ads, and also the location, like everything that contributes to the end conversion. And for example, time of the day is also really important, what the conversion rate is. And by use of the Google algorithms and the machine learning, you can use like an automated bidding strategy to really like see auction specific how big the chance is of a conversion. And also on mobile, really advise to use like the target CPA bidding method. With that method, you actually focus on what cost you want to pay to Google for an acquisition, for a conversion, and then we see with this bidding strategy, we usually see like an uplift of 33% on mobile, and on the whole Google platform we see like 31% overall. Like maybe you can also add something to like the mobile device bid optimization, but yeah, there you can see that we really see good results for it.
Yes, and what I think is also very important to notice here is that for target CPA, if you have a mobile bid adjustment, so let's say that you're using target CPA for a campaign, and then you have a bid adjustment for mobile of, let's say, 30%, but your target CPA is set at 10 euros, then your target CPA for mobile will become 13 euros. Yeah. So it does look at, so the bid adjustment for mobile, it influences your target CPA for mobile. So that's very important to know and to take into account for your strategy as well.
Yeah, and it will vary like very highly between all the different devices. So it's really important. Yeah,
it's good, very indeed. So it's good to look at that.
Yeah, and then with regard to the mobile sites, it's really important to have like fast websites. We strive to go under 2 seconds loading time per specific web page. Because like we are very high demanding in terms of mobile, and here you can see we see like a lot of benefits in having fast mobile websites. We see like 53% of users, they will abandon the site before even see the page.
Yeah, that's crazy.
For example, if you pay for a click and people don't even see your web page, you just throw away all your money. So it's really important to have like fast mobile web pages, and it's a really important thing for Google that we offer also services in creating accelerated mobile pages. They are really focused on speed. So like imagine yourself being on a mobile web page. You can be frustrated by a lot of things. But for example, on Wi-Fi, like low Wi-Fi signs, signals, low batteries, or a loading phase, like everyone thinks that's really irritating. So they get ignored by it.
It is. So that shows how important mobile is nowadays.
It's really important and how high demanding we are.
Yeah.
And when people they have like a negative brand experience because of like, let's say a slow loading page, they are like 62% likely to purchase, less likely to purchase from brands in the future. So that contradicts how important it is.
True.
So we have like 3 phases, which is really important in the mobile speed and the user experience of like the mobile web pages. First, I'm going to elaborate on like each second, which is really important. Here you can see like the average of all our advertisers still is 15% loading page of their mobile pages. So I can imagine you all also have like you could accelerate all the speed even more.
Yeah, true.
And like the page speed will see now the impact on your ranking on the organic mobile searches too. So Google also take that into account when they see like the organic ranking of your website and your mobile web pages. So yeah, really important to focus on. And you also see like a 50% higher conversion rate when your mobile speed page is below 2 seconds. So yeah, really important in that term is to check it. And the best way to check it, I think, to have like a really good overview is the speed scorecard. You can find it on Google, so the Google speed scorecard, and there you can just type in your domain, and you can see the average speed of your website, of your web page on mobile. But you can also check it in just the Google interface, in the AdWords, Google Ads interface. You can see on the landing page what the mobile-friendly click rate is. So Google scrapes it based on all their algorithms and machine learning sees like how mobile-friendly your page is and how people act on your pages. So you can see there in the column of the mobile-friendly click rate. And there you can also see the speed ranking, which is on a scale of 0 to 10.
Yeah.
And there you can see, like, without only just elaborating on your specific domain, you can also see what particular pages actually causes your total website to have like a low speed score. So so there you can.
Yeah, it's a great way to zoom in. Indeed, like this actually shows all the individual web pages instead of like the overall score that Scorecard gives you. It's like a great way to zoom in. Really great feature.
Yeah. So too.
Yeah. And unfortunately, the site speed is not included in this specific screenshot, but it is indeed a feature as well. If you go into the landing pages option, you will see it.
Yeah. So it's a new speed score in Google Ads.
Yes.
And here you can see, like what I already told you 5 slides ago, the accelerated mobile pages, the AMP. It's like a new way to set up your mobile pages, and you see 85% faster than faster web pages than standard mobile pages.
Yeah.
So they're really focused on speed.
And we also have information about this. Just approach your account strategist if you want to have more information on accelerated mobile pages and what is possible. But it is quite a new development, and we see crazy results from it. So do make sure that you're up to date about this as well, and talk to your account strategist about the options. I think it's very important.
And provide services with helping your account strategist knows about that. And here's an example of BMW. By use of the AMP method, they increased their mobile speed with 4 times, and their click-through rate in ads, Google Ads, increased from 8% to 30%. So this is again how you see like the importance of being focused on the mobile side.
Yeah.
This is an example of the AMP landing page versus the regular landing page, and the Google Ads support can help you with that. Again, you should ask it to your account strategist, but here you can see that it's such a big difference in the experience of the users.
It's an immediate loading time, so it's almost instant.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can imagine that it greatly improves your experience on mobile. So it's a very important development. Yeah.
Yeah. So here we have some tips and tricks in how to use and how to approach your users, and how you can increase people the conversion rate, or like the chance of someone to actually come to a transaction. Like we nowadays see that 46% of the people don't even go to their desktop anymore. So from the beginning to the end transaction, people are like their whole process there on their telephone.
Yeah.
So like an important tip or a trick is the Chrome autofill. Here you can see like people can just go from the checkout page, just type in their name, and you only need to type in your CV code, I think. And from there on, like it all goes automatically. You see 20% higher conversion rate. I think your developer knows how this works. You can definitely search how this works. Another great example is Domino's Pizza. They have like over 15 ways to pay at their online restaurant. Like from your smartwatch to your tablet, desktop, telephone, everywhere there's like ways to pay. So it makes it like really, really easy to go to a transaction. They actually implemented something you just told me with the
True. They have a very great, like one of the 15 ways to order, 15 plus ways to order Domino's pizza is to just send an emoji of a pizza, so a pizza emoji by text message to Domino's, and then they know because they match your phone number to your account, so they know which pizza you want, and that way you can just automatically order a pizza, which is I think very innovative, very novel. So it's just a great inspiring example. And another thing is that all these ways to order the Domino's pizza, it doesn't matter which way. Every way takes 5 clicks or less. So every method is they try to make it as short and simple as possible for people to have a very low barrier. So that's very great example.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And here you can see like Domino's. There used to be like only a physical restaurant, but currently they shifted to like 60% orders online, and from that online orders over 50% is also on mobile.
Yes.
So this again points out how important mobile is in the total process.
Customer journey. Exactly. Yeah. Thanks a lot for that. Then I will kind of continue with how we can best tackle individual users with your mobile website strategy, and what are some examples. Because we see that 61% of users, according to Google surveys, expect brands to tailor experiences based on preferences. And with experiences in this context, we mean the mobile experience. And I think before I move to the next example, another example that I would like to give is Netflix. So Netflix is, I think, a great example on this, because they show on the homepage the series that they recommend to you based on the previous series that you've watched. So that's a great way of tailoring experience based on preferences and personalizing the mobile or the online experience. So another example is Sigma Sports. What they do is, as the name already says, they sell sports gear, and they did an experiment in which they, or an A/B test, in which they took the old website, which is just a normal website, and they compared it with the new website, which was personalized and showed different images and different actions and deals on the homepage based on the previous purchasing history of each user. And here you can see some examples. So you can see they use different pictures and A/B tested this. And what they saw is that the personalized website compared to the normal website saw a 28% increase in revenue and a 32% increase in e-commerce conversion rates. So I think that is very, it really shows that how important and how big of a difference it can make to personalize your website.
Yeah, like the experience again. Like people just, they love to go on a web page that's personalized for them.
Exactly, and it lowers the barrier to convert, because you have a higher chance of the message that you're portraying on your website to have a good match with the visitor.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I would just like to highlight, like the examples that we gave now are just a few, but your account strategists will have way more resources for you to optimize your mobile strategy. An example are the mobile user experience playbooks, and just ask your account strategist about these, and Google and your account strategists have more resources to share with you. So if you just ask, so that's good to know.
Yeah, like another example of what you can find in that is like people always search on their mobile phone, and like normally on the desktop web page you see like the option menu on the left top side, but most of the people there are right-handed.
Yeah.
And still on mobile, like the menu is on the left top side. But why don't we do it on the right top side? This is like a tip you can use, which is like really user friendly. Because why should you always go to the other side of the screen, especially with the big screens that everyone currently has?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, and yeah, that's one of many examples. Like another one is, for example, having your call to action on the above the fold, for example. It sounds like such a no-brainer, but there is apparently a lot of advertisers who have their call to action underneath the folds. These are tips that are very important to take into account. But it's also a very good one. Like really thinking and taking a step back and thinking like, okay, how is this website designed and why? And is this user friendly or not?
You go really into the perspective of the user.
Yes.
Like use your web page on your own. Like a lot of times, like what do I see? what should I improve? And I go to your developer and say, is that possible?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or to your account strategist.
Or to your account strategist and use the Google the resources. Yes. Cool. So that was mobile. Moving on to the product updates. There's been a very big one called, and it's a new audience type called Light TV viewers on YouTube. Let me first give you a bit of context. So the reason why we came up with this new audience type is the evolving media landscape. So what we see, imagine yourself in a plane. 15 years ago, it looked a bit like this. So people are reading newspapers, people are reading books, staring outside of the window. There's maybe some TV screens. But this is how it looks nowadays. Everyone has a portable device, just to show again how important it has become. And people stream and they watch shows and movies on their portable devices instead of watching TV, instead of reading the newspaper. So we see this big trend, and Google really tried to tap into that. So consumer media habits are shifting. We see that 24% of 18 to 49-year-olds in the US do not subscribe to linear TV anymore. And I can say that I'm definitely part of that group. And
me too.
I know you are too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. And 28% of US adults have cited that streaming services are their primary needs of watching TV. So that are examples of that are YouTube or Netflix. And I'm also part of that.
Me too.
So Google came up with a new audience type, which is called the Light TV viewers. And then the definition of the Light TV viewer is people that typically watch less than 1 hour of broadcast or cable TV per day and tend to no longer be paying for cable or satellite TV services. Yeah. But how does this work? So how did Google kind of determine which people to target? It starts, of course, with people, because people are in the end like what you want to sell your products to. And we use the 7 Google properties with over 1 billion users each to get these messages. So to zoom in a little bit more, how is this audience built? So it started off with the signals. So Google looks at signals from search, the Android apps, downloads, and YouTube viewing behavior to understand the unique behaviors and characteristics of this Light TV viewer audience. Then Google validated these signals with, or validates these signals through surveys and asking questions about TV watch time as well as common used media services, basically to link the two. So they try to link the signals with the surveys to validate whether the signals are right. And then using this information, and if the data from the signals is validated, we extrapolate this with machine learning models to find other people on YouTube who also belong to this audience. So first we validate the data through the surveys, and then we extrapolate that to a bigger audience. And on the right, you can see some examples of signals that we would look at for this audience. So for example, one is someone who searched for best Netflix shows on google.com, which is obviously something that would indicate that somebody streams a lot. People who watch full-length movies on YouTube.
So that they actually watch.
Yeah. And you can, of course, make the implication that if somebody watches a lot of YouTube videos, they watch less TV. Yeah. Or someone who installed a video streaming app. So these are some signals that we use in combination with the surveys. How to use the Light TV viewer audience on YouTube. This is a bit more of a practical slide. And I would like to go to the third part. So it increases the impact of an existing TV campaign or extends the reach beyond TV to an audience that may not have been exposed to a campaign. So I think that this is especially useful if you already have a TV campaign, or just if you want to have a brand awareness or a bit more of an upper funnel campaign. Yeah. So it's great to extend your TV campaign to the Light TV viewer audience. Or if you don't use TV, obviously that is also fine. You can also only use the Light TV viewer audience, but it tends to be more suitable for audiences that are that you want to reach in a more upper funnel branding type of campaign.
Yeah, but still like a little bit more targeted, so that you show your videos, for example, on the like people that actually watch it, are actually interested in it. So based on intent.
Yes, and people that are indeed that watch a lot on online. So you can therefore also make the assumption that they will be more engaged with your ads because they are heavy streamer users.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
exactly. So I think this is the end of our update. So thank you very much. Let's check quickly the questions. We have a couple more minutes. Okay, so we have Abhishek Gautam saying, Gautam, hi. She just joined. Can you brief about the new feature? Okay, we did that. On AMP, I've noticed that sometimes the internal links don't work. I think this is definitely a question that you should try to solve with your developer. Unfortunately, it's a very specific issue. But I would really try to. It's good that you have already found out what the problem is, but really try to do this with your developer, or maybe ask your account strategist if they can set up a meeting with a tech support team, or call the tech support. Maybe they have an answer. And I think that those are your best options. Then Francis Jixi Kulua, where do I start? Or what should I do first if I want to create my own startup business? I think the most important thing if you have a startup is to first just create a Google Ads account, of course.
Of course.
And I think here it's very important to try, when you set up your Google Ads account, to follow the structure of your website. When you set up the campaigns and ad groups, try to follow the flow of your website menu. So let's say that you have a few important sections on your menu of your website, try to make those into the campaigns, and in the ad groups, then you do the specific web pages, for example. But yeah, I think
start with like a mobile-friendly web page. It's just really important. You see, it's even more important than desktop currently.
Absolutely.
With like all the things you said, like how you can check out really easily with your telephone, and how you can combine it with the experience on your desktop. Really important when you start with Google Ads.
Absolutely. Try to implement the learnings from this video. Yeah, that's very important. All right, I think that makes the end of this live stream. If there's no more questions, but thanks for the interaction, guys. That's great. Yeah. And we hope to see you again in 2 weeks, same time, and hopefully with Alexandra at that time as well. And I want to thank you, Stefan, for being here today.
No worries. It was fun.
Yeah. So thank you very much, and see you again.
All right.